share this real quick. Let's talk about the topic that everybody wants to talk about, right? We all want to talk about Kanye West and what's going on with Kanye West. And, you know, I couldn't hide the conversation, so I'm going to have it like this. I think it's a little too late to go to that T.I. thing, but I'm going to try anyway, but I just want to get this out. I got to blurt this out. I got to get this out. If not, I got one more show to go to and catch tomorrow. So, guys, make sure y'all hit up the Cash App, $STRINGERBELL80. If y'all know what I'm talking about, earlier I was on the live just a few minutes ago. We're trying to garner support. Shout out to Brian for donating. I appreciate that. He donated $20. Make sure y'all encouraged to donate the same or another amount in particular of your specific ability, whatever the case may be. All right, so let's get into this thing because people asked me to go live, so I'm going to go live. I'm going to go live. I'm going to talk about something. Kanye West, man. And whoever that weirdo is that keeps coming in for a few minutes and then going out and coming in for a few minutes, stop that shit. That's creepy, man. What's wrong with you? Kanye West. I'm going to tell you from my perspective and how I know it from the music business versus the gossip version. So if you want to egg out and go out now, you may. My particular opinion from the music angle. See, you saw that person logged off. I appreciate that. This is my particular opinion of Kanye West. I think a lot of people weren't paying attention to what I said last week, and I'll say it again here. Now, so maybe you can understand a little bit better, a little bit clearer, or just get the point of what I'm trying to point out here. Kanye West is not a victim. No, he's not a victim. He's a victim of himself in some regard. And in another regard, he forgot his own damn song. So what? You're still a nigga in the Benz. See, the mistake that Kanye West made was, and I don't know how he doesn't know this because he's in his 40s. You're in your 40s and you've had more money than a lot of people. You're a multi-billionaire, my friend. Not a multi-millionaire, multi-billionaire now. Kanye is worth an estimate of $11 billion. That includes all his assets, all his companies, everything else. And he did it in a very short amount of time. Very short amount of time. I don't even think this guy is worth that much. Well, he might be worth that much. Warren Buffett, I was speaking of. I think Warren Buffett is worth like something like $76 billion. So that's up there in the numbers. Irregardless of that, the problem that Kanye did and he made for himself, in my opinion, in my regard, is this. What Kanye didn't do, he didn't protect himself by keeping his mouth shut. Y'all get what I mean, huh? Kanye didn't keep his mouth shut. And once you hit a certain status, you hit a certain monetary goal, whatever yours may be specific, it's a point where you have to shut the fuck up. Now, I'm not just talking about the Jewish community. Oh, no. I'm talking about the entire of communities. Unless your objective is collective with the oppressive, you're going to run into some problems. I'll say that for you again. Unless your objective isn't for the oppressive, you're going to run into some objection. All right? Remember that shit I told you right there. Remember anything, remember that. You guys out here interested in how the streets play, but not interested in how the rest of the game is played. And that's where you're going to run into your problems. And that's where the cycle continues. And for those that are in the know and know better, and for those that listen, it's my duty to do this. So I'm going to tell you what's really happening with Kanye West. What you see is Kanye West is trying to do a basic castration of him in the media. Basic castration. I've seen it done before. It ain't the first time. And they're hoping that he bows out. They're hoping that he bows out. I'm going to say it one more time. They're hoping that he bows out. Don't bow out. You were already in transgression of getting away from Adidas anyway. I put the video up. You guys can see it. You were already in transgression of leaving Gap, so it doesn't matter. You had already found facilities that one was in Brooklyn for your sneakers, I'm assuming, because that's who you posted. I'm talking about Kanye West. And another manufacturer for the clothes. So at this point, you don't need Adidas or Gap, so he was planning on leaving them anyway. And like I told y'all, it was in the last week or the week before now, on that live, I said, as soon as a company says they're under review, that means that they are planning on separating themselves from you. And they just need collectively to go through the procedure of the board voting and then uniformly saying, okay, let's get him out of here. You know, that's how that works. So, unfortunately enough, Kanye made the mistake of adding in the Jewish trope that he added in. And that's where he made his mistake. A lot of these conversations that you guys want to have are reserved for the dinner table. They're not reserved for media to stick it to media, whatever. There's been other people that tried to do it before you. Muhammad Ali, he tried it. Malcolm X, he tried it. You saw how they castrated them publicly, right? It is the job of a media company, especially there's one that's a red and blue network, that'd be ABC and NBC. It is jobs of like places like the Red and Blue Network, NBC and ABC, because that's how they started. They started as radio stations that covered the war. World War I, then World War II. They are federally obligated to do such procedures. And most of the other channels that are FCC regulated, they have to do the same. This is why you see a difference between your local news broadcast versus a common YouTuber. They're gonna give you two different directives, even if they include some of the footage or some of the intel from these major companies and conglomerates such as ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, Fox, etc., etc. Get it? Kanye made the mistake of saying that on a conglomerate that's, I believe, part of Fox. Take this heavy ass jacket off. And he was on there with Piers Morgan, I believe who it was. Then he had another one with Tucker. Like I said, I don't have too much, always a problem with Tucker Carlson like that. Some of the shit Tucker says is real. So you say these things on these programs, and we all know the fallback from it or whatever, but this is the part that I want to home in on, right? Let me move this back a little bit so I'm not so close to the camera. This is the part I want to home in on. How come there are so many black people upset, right? Hold on. How come there's so many black people and Latin people upset about what Kanye said? But at the same time, right? At the same time, in secret, when they're at certain people's channels, I ain't gonna point out nobody because I don't want any of y'all come under any scrutiny. But I'm just gonna say some of these Hotep folks, right? I'm gonna say some of these Hotep folks. And y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about, so let's not pretend. A lot of these Hotep, let me share this before I say this. Y'all stay right here. A lot of these Hotep vloggers go on tirades all the time about Jewish folks and everything else, all the time. I've seen it, all right? And they'll have people in the chat room that will be egging them on to talk about it more, right? And I'm not here to say you're right or wrong or whatever regard or what capacity you're talking about, I don't know. But I've heard the conversation before, and it's turned me off that I wasn't there for the duration of the conversation. I just move on. Because I don't like being involved in stuff like that. But when I've heard it in these Hotep groups, I gotta say this. There's nobody at that time telling the person that's saying it, hey, you need to stop saying it. But today, I saw some of these same people, and I know the same people because a lot of y'all don't know this. I got 12,000 plus people that follow me now, right? Congratulations to me. I reached 12K. I got 12,000 people reaching 13,000 people shortly here. And out of those 12,000 people, all of them follow somebody different. They have a different verbiage with them. They have a different octave with them. They have a different vibe with them. All conducive of people they're influenced by here on YouTube and in their personal life, right? So I can look at your channel. I don't know if you noticed or not, but in YouTube Studio, I can look at your profile, look at your channel, and I can see who you follow. That easy. I can look and see who you follow. So when I see certain names come up, I'll be like, oh, this is what they into. Oh, okay, I got you. And if you're not into that fully, you into it partially. I'm talking about these hotel communities. Some of these same people today who have said things about Jewish people before are now bucking up, putting the tap dancing shoes on, and coming out like, we sick, boss. We sick. Nah, nigga, stick with the narrative. What, you scared? You scared? I told you these motherfuckers scared. Y'all don't be believing me. Y'all don't believe me because, you know, pretty boy Flacco, the shit I be saying, the motherfuckers be like, he can't be like that. No, I was like that. You know what I'm saying? I was like that. There's a whole bunch of pretty motherfuckers in the accent motherfucking uptown. Let me try to tell you. You understand? I'm trying to tell you these motherfuckers are scared. They're scared to say and go in cohesion and in unison with Kanye West because they don't want to upset people. They don't want to upset people, you know? They don't want to upset people. Right, Leo? They don't want to upset people. Leo's always watching. Shout out to Leo Cohen. I'm not an anti-Semitic at all. But I keep it real about shit. And Leo, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. You know what Kanye was saying. You know Kanye. He helped navigate his career to some capacity. Now, my point is this. I saw how many people were backing the Jewish community online, and they sit in these little spaces and these little areas online with these hotep communities, which many of them are racist as hell. Let's just be just straight up and honest. Being racist, and I always say the same thing, being racist is gonna get you a war. It's not gonna get you liberation, it's gonna get you a war. And if you ain't prepared for that war, shut the fuck up because you're putting other people in danger. That makes sense? That's how the tribe goes. That's how the tribe goes. Who the fuck voted you the leader? These groups, they speak uniformly for you. And you're not even aware of it many of times. And the only thing it takes is 3 or 4 rednecks hearing it, 3 or 4, far-right separatists hearing it, a coon hearing it, a Latino that thinks he's a white man hearing it until he ends up in a prison and he understands now he's Latino. That's the only thing it takes is one of these wahoos hearing it. And once they hear it, what happens after that is they take it and they take that synergy and they take it for real and they take it serious and they think it's real and they think all people of color think like that. Think like this. They think all people of color are going to fucking rob you. Have you ever went through that trope? If you've been through that trope before, it's the same thing unilaterally with a lot of these other ideas and thoughts and things that are put out here, not only by artists, but by the media themselves, okay? And so when that happens, what happens is a person develops a new mentality on top of the mentality they already previously had. I've ran into people in Connecticut here that can't stand Latinos, blacks, Arabs, anybody else. That's why I was surprised by a lot of ways a lot of people in Stanford act like it nowadays. It's weird to a degree, but that's another conversation. But I spent most of my life here in Connecticut, if not all of it. And one thing I know is there's a lot of racist people, especially when you get into the smaller towns of Connecticut or whatever. This is how some of the people out there think, unless they grow up with you. Unless they grow up with you. Unless they grow up with you. Now, I know a racist when I see one. I grew up around Italians and Greeks. I know a racist when I see one. And amongst those friends that I had that were Italian and Greek, some of their family members were fucking racist and hid it, One of my friends, Chris Papadonasio, I swear to God, Chris, you see this, I'm sorry for saying your whole fucking name, you, Costa, and Billy. But I love you guys to death, your sister Mary, I love all you guys, Cassandra, I can't say her name right, Cassandra, love you guys. This is my thing. When I was hanging out with him, I used to go to their family's pizza restaurant. They used to have a pizza restaurant. I ain't gonna say the name of it because then y'all go looking it up and shit or whatever, but they had a pizza restaurant or whatever. And I used to go to this pizza restaurant all the time. They had the best pizza in the fucking town, I swear to God to you. So I used to go there anyway, and I would get free slices here and there because I knew the people, And I remember one time their great uncle came in. He was Greek. Kept saying, I want a cigarette. I want a cigarette. I ain't got no cigarettes. So I handed him a cigarette. He wouldn't take the cigarette from me. In other words, I'm not taking a cigarette from a nigga. Without saying it, Greek and Italian people have a lot of times ways of saying things, and people from the Caribbean too have a lot of times of saying things without having to say them. So I offered him a cigarette again. He wouldn't take it. Finally, my friend Chris, his father says, he's offering you a cigarette. Take the cigarette. He looks at me, takes a cigarette. He says, what was he eating? Chris tells him what I was eating or whatever. The guy that would take the cigarette from me before now pays for my food. My food came up to like $22, $23, something like that at the time. People have pre-notions all around every bound. White, black, Spanish, you name it. I see some white people or whatever, and they have certain gestures or movements or whatever. I'm like, all right, what the fuck are you into? And I will say it literally like that. You guys have seen me do it on camera. What the fuck are you into? I'll stop you halfway into it because I've been through the drive before. Like, what are you feeling like you're like fucking, I don't know, special or something? Like you're at a higher thinking level and capacity and tier than everyone else? Well, newsflash, buddy, this shit was done 10, 15 fucking years ago. You understand? So a lot of the shit that you see out here now is it's white, obnoxious whites and just races in general. All throughout, all of them repeating what they've been taught. You understand what I'm saying? Some don't. Some don't. So with the Jewish community, which I'm also familiar with, because I dated an Israeli girl before, D. David. I talked about her many times on here. You guys have heard me talk about her, whatever. She was like Mary Ben-Ari, the girl that plays the violin, hip-hop violin. Some of y'all may remember her or not. And that's exactly who she looked like. I throw some pictures up of her. She lived with me probably for about 8 months. And I met her when she was selling these sea salt products or whatever. And she spoke, Jesus Christ. She spoke a Hasidic language and she spoke her language, which is Hebrew. And so that's what she used to speak primarily on the phone. When she got on the phone, she would speak the other language. And I learned to tell the differences because I could hear it. And her parents had, so many questions for me. Who is he? What kind of places he live in? At the time I was living in a fucking condo. All right? Beautiful condo. Shout out to Gold Harbor Condominiums. So they ain't had no problem with that. We got a pool there, Olympic size pool there, weight rooms, washing, dryers, all that amenity shit that people love, well, girls love anyway. I knew that when I got the place. You know what I mean? I said, well, if I get a girlfriend, she ain't ever got to leave the fucking house. Store right around the corner. You ain't got to go no fucking way. I had to go to the store. All right, well, that should take you 5 minutes. I'll just play. Amongst all that, in the Jewish community, one thing that I found, there's racism that exists there too. Many of y'all don't know. In Israel, and I found this out from her, there are Ethiopians that live there, which ironically enough, my ex is Ethiopian, right? That's erotic shit, right? It was like a future telly. Well, anyway, she told me about the Ethiopians that lived there and the shit they went through. She was basing this off the stuff she was hearing. It just started burgeoning up then, but I think it was Trayvon. No, it wasn't Trayvon. It was earlier than that. It was something else. But it was one of the incidents that happened where, somebody got killed by the police or whatever. She said, that's the same thing that happens with the Israeli police in the Ethiopian. She clarified it for me, and I didn't have no idea what she was talking about. I thought she was fronting at first. I was like, ain't no Ethiopians that live in Israel. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. A whole bunch of them. And some of them have been there for decades. You know what I mean? If almost a millennia, some of them. And they practice Judaism, etc., etc., etc. And they're harassed by the cops. They're beaten. They're arrested unfairly, etc., etc. Unless you know how to verbally fight for yourself and articulate and things like that, you can't get around it. So I always knew there was this racism within the Jewish community, but at the same time, not everybody in the Jewish community is racist. Does that make sense? And I also learned this from meeting other friends of hers that were very welcoming to me, that fixed food for me, that I went to their homes that she knew in New York. And I was living here in Connecticut at the same time. We visited friends of hers in Brooklyn. I went to an old Jewish neighborhood in Brooklyn. You know what I mean? It was very welcome. The people were very nice to me, and there's nothing I could say wrong about it. Well, those weren't the Jews Kanye West was talking about. Those weren't the Jews that Kanye West was talking about. What Kanye West was talking about is the same Jews, I believe, that not only Amy Schumer was talking about, not only Seth Rogen was talking about, not only Seth MacFarlane was talking about, not only numerous other Jerry Lewis was talking about, Joan Rivers was talking about. I can keep going on. Adam Sandler has talked about. And I said, all those people that have talked about Jewish people in a way worse regard. If you guys haven't seen the video I put up a video, it's a spew of different clips from Family Guy with Seth MacFarlane, who's actually Jewish himself, if you're not following me. This guy actually makes fun of Jews on a weekly basis. It has done, though. So what has that show been on? Since 98, 97, 25 plus years. Where was the Jewish community on that shit? That's all I'm asking. You're not mad, you're not upset about 25 years of a Jewish man. I mean, if you put it in comparison, if you guys can understand, this is like somebody going on TV every day, tap dancing, and having his characters that he implements on his show tap dance as well. Y'all understand now? That's like having caricatures of black and Latin characters on screen, and you a black producer, whatever the case may be. You don't understand? So all these guys that I'm talking about that I mentioned, Seth MacFarlane, Seth Rogen, Jerry Lewis, God bless his heart, Joan Rivers, many of these people, they made careers out of making fun of their own people. Made careers. Not Jerry Lewis as much, but they have had little tripes and tropes about Jewish people within their comedy routines, within their shows, within their movies. I'll present more to you. And most recently, Amy Schumer allows other different Jewish comedians who have their own Jewish comedian. I don't know if you guys know this. This is a Jewish American comedian. I don't know if you want to call it workshop, or whatever, of comedians right in Brooklyn. A huge number of them. They have their own guild, damn near. So I kept asking the question. I said, how come the Jewish community is not upset about that? They're not upset about Amy Schumer, who said way worse stuff than Kanye West. They're not upset at Joan Rivers, who made a whole career about talking about Jews. Her own people. They're not upset with Adam Sandler. They're not upset with what's his name, Jerry Seinfeld. They're not upset with Joel Epstein for touching all them little girls for decades. They're not upset with, what is her name? The woman that was with him. I forgot what her name was. Jesseline. They're not upset at Jesseline. They're not upset at Harvey Weinstein, who's up on his second trial right now, currently, and jury selection has begun in California and LA. They are not saying anything about that. In fact, I'll bring this up and I'll say it again. On the day that everybody was complaining about that White Lives Matter t-shirt, jury selection that began that day for Harvey Weinstein's second trial, where he's now could possibly get life. You know, he got 20 years. I think the contention is that the Jewish community has not pointed out any of their own making fun of them. And I'll give you an example. The Italian heritage community, which is in Jersey, shout out to Rocco, shout out to Dominico, shout out to my man Joey, and shout out to his brother Nick. All these guys know me. I'm not going to say their last name on here because I don't know what the fuck y'all into nowadays. But shout out to South Jersey. Yeah, put it that way. Now, my friends down there, they run a restaurant down there. Nice restaurant. Known these guys for years. They lived out here in Connecticut for years. And they went back home to Jersey. So I was going down to Jersey seeing these guys all the time. You're going to get the point in a minute. And within their community adjacent to it, there's a huge Jersey. I don't know if you guys know this, has one of the largest Hasidic or Jewish communities in the United States. Jersey, South Jersey. That's why I said I'm going to point out the location. You know what I mean? But they do. So adjacent to where their restaurant is a Jewish community, not far by. You got to walk by there to go towards the train. People that know what I'm talking about, they know what I'm talking about. You got to walk past it to get to the train, put it that way. And so I'm down there, and I felt the tension. I ain't going to lie to you. There was a lot of stairs. There was a lot of dirty looks here and there, whatever. And I couldn't figure it out at first. And I was like, well, they hate you more than they hate me. And I'm only half black. If you ask any racist, if you put a Jewish man and a black man in front of a true KKK member, for white supremacists, you know, the people that kill people. If you put them in front of that, they're going to pick the Jew every time. They're going to pick the Jewish person every time. They believe that the Jews killed Jesus. But Jesus himself was a Jew. Isn't that ironic? So, with that being said, right, I'm walking through this neighborhood, whatever. I'm feeling uncomfortable. I'm getting stares here and there from the Jewish community, whatever. Some of them are nice, some of them aren't so nice. I'm not going to say everybody, the last one was bad or whatever. And I'm going to the train or whatever. I sit in the train, I got to sit in the train for a minute. And as I'm sitting in the train for a minute, I noticed that, like, I'm talking about like the rabbi looking ones with the hats and everything like that. These are Orthodox Jews, I believe. They're all coming into the train station too. I guess they're going into New York as well. And I'm like, okay, cool, whatever, I had this one man, and I'll never forget this look he had on his face. It was like pure hatred. Like I ain't never had a motherfucker look at me and stare at me that hatefully in their life. And this man was just standing there just like like profusely. And I wanted to be like, yo, if we wasn't here, I would probably punch him in his face. But I'm like, we're here. You know what the fuck I mean? So I ate it. And I sat there and I dealt with it, but I never forget that experience. And when the experience happened after I was dating my ex-ID. And so I was like, damn, what if I would have married her? What if I would have been, and like my ex was different. She was dark, like very dark. Like her father was Turkish. And I guess that's why he spoke that other language, and she spoke that other language too, which was some type of, I don't know, dialect, but it was Jewish, right? If you're Hasidic or Jewish and you're tuning in, let me know what that dialect is. She's from Afula, Israel, northern Israel. So anyway, it's the capital, I believe, the northeast capital or something like that or whatever. But that's where she's from, Afula, Israel. That's spelled A-F-U-L-A, Afula. So anyway, long story short, my descent went right back to that moment when I was dealing with her. Look up Aaron Lampus. He was the main one tied up in the slave trade. Tied up with the slave trade. I will do, Barry Lee and Stanfield. I will do. And thank you for coming back too, man. I appreciate it. Long story short, man. Yeah, I just want to speed this up a little bit. You're talking to a people that believe they are the chosen people. That's how a lot of Jewish people will put their chime. I don't think there's going to be any argument in that. I don't think it's going to be any disrespect in that. They look at themselves as the chosen people. And I honestly and truthfully believe they look at most people as if they are better than them, because they live under the tribe of I am God's chosen, This says this in the Torah. This is how they dictate it in synagogue, etc., etc. I'm not making up anything here. So nobody's going to come at me and be like, oh, you're taking out old Jew. No, I'm not. Because you guys know you're wrong, too. Kanye just said it wrong. Now, I'm going to send this out to Leor Cohen. And I hope you're listening, Leor. You're ex-Nazi Jew. All right? Meaning you're Jewish faith, but a different type of Jew. The Jews they would have prosecuted during World War II. Am I correct here? All right. Being that said, there's a difference between the Jewish community, depending on what Jewish tribe, sect, whatever you belong to. Oh, it's a big battle with that. They've had fell-out fist fights. Don't worry. I got you covered. Y'all make sure y'all got me covered too. Cash App, $ STRINGERBELL80. Somebody said they want me to go live. I missed T.I. earlier tonight, but there's a second show tomorrow, so make sure y'all donate. GoFundMe, PayPal, all that's found in the links in the description. And let me continue. These different types of Jew groups, they war within each other, in the homeland and in the United States. In the homeland and the United States, and across the world for that matter. They don't war to the point that they physically fight all the time, but dictation will come up and they will argue with each other. We're also talking about the same people that are in the World View. The country looks like it's been prosecuting the Palestinians for decades, So you don't have the best PR routine going either as a country, as a nation. But I digress. The reason they pick Kanye, and I think a lot of you black people and Latin people don't get it, the reason they pick Kanye to quote-unquote make an example of is because they didn't see something that Kanye saw anyway, and I'll say it again. I was fucking leaving anyway. And it comes with a mentality of freedom that you can actually say that. See, I live in that mentality too. And the reason I live in that mentality is because of my life's experiences. I can't help those experiences. I don't want to change those experiences. Y'all please hit the like button if y'all will. But I will say this, I live in a space of freedom. And that freedom entails this, right? That I'm not going to sit around and I'm not going to allow people to bully me, chump me, or whatever the case may be, just because you have me in contractual agreement, just because I rock with your crew, just because I'm friends with you, or whatever the fuck case may be. If I don't agree with that, then I don't agree with that. And that's as simple as put. Doesn't mean that I hate you, doesn't mean that I disrespect you, or anything like that. They were waiting for Kanye to say something, if you don't understand what I'm saying, folks. And when he made that Jewish comment, and when he backed it up later on, I don't know if it was on Pierce's show or whose show it was. He said, I can say anything else I want to about Jews. No. Kanye, you didn't make a mistake saying something about Jews. You made your mistake in saying something that was deflammatory. You made your mistake in saying, and I'm going to get into deflammatory in a minute, so stay here because y'all might want to hear this. Kanye, I got an answer for you. You said something that was derogatory, but at the same time, the same people that were saying it was derogatory, had been used to hearing derogatory material from their own comedians, actresses, actors, and more importantly, Family Guy's producer and maker, Seth MacFarlane, who's been making fun of the Jewish community now for 25 years via his show. He's been making fun of black people just as much, as long as about 16, 17 years. But motherfuckers would be like, I gotta watch Cleveland, that's so funny. You gotta have some gumption about yourself. You gotta have some dignity about yourself and be like, you know what, fuck your show. Fuck your show. And I'm upset, and I'm talking about that as black people. And I'm talking about as far as, and some people have arguments when we saying that statement. I don't care. You understand what I'm saying? Yo soy cubano, la moreno, el do. Entonces, negrito. Okay? Toda, en un grito. It's not the problem with that. It's more so the problem with this. When you have people in a culture set that are pointing fingers at people and saying we're the perfect people, or whatever the case may be, but you have perimeters when it comes to making opinions, making comments, poking fun, making jokes, and you got picks. And you're saying it's okay for my comedians, my actors, and everybody else to make fun of Jewish people, but it's not okay for you to make fun of Jewish people. But at the same time, you'll use the argument and say, well, you can talk about black people, but I can't talk about black people. You can talk about Latin people, but I can't talk about Latin people. And I'm going to say, you know what, I'm 50-50 on the fucking argument. See, I don't mind if one of my Italian homeboys that I grew up with, or hung with, banged with, everything like that, I don't mind if he be like, yo, my nigga, where we going? I don't mind that. You know why? Because I know he into the same shit I'm into. You understand? I know if something goes down, he's got my fucking back. I know if I need to eat somewhere, I know I can go there. You know, when I was fucked up during the pandemic and I did my little spot of homelessness, it was an Italian woman, her name is Stephanie. And Stephanie used to tell me every day, come on my house, whatever. We never screwed. We never did anything. This is a true life story. I've taken pictures of her. I've shouted out here before. And she's my friend out there in NL. Shout out to NL, Connecticut. And not only did she cook for me, hey, you want to have a drink with me? Hey, we're going over here. You want to ride with us too? Whatever. Because the shelter I was staying at, they would kick us out early. You know, so I would spend my day with her and her kids, and she's kicking it. You know, and she had a boyfriend or a boyfriend or two, you know. But that's my girl. So shout out to Stephanie and NL. Love you to death, huh? Grazie, capisci. It's just a shame, man, that we've got to start looking from within each other. That's all I'm saying. And I'm talking about whether you're black, white, Italian, Greek, whatever the fuck you are, you got to start looking within yourself. If you're going to point out and say and cry and have temper tantrums when somebody says something about yours, I can point out many a times that I felt uncomfortable around the Jewish community as a whole for the way that their attitudes came towards me. Does that make sense? I can imagine that other people would feel the same way or whatever the case may be. But do I back people attacking them? No. Do I back people physically harming them? No. Do I back people trying to do anything to them in the notion of being notorious? No. And you know why? Because that ain't the right thing to do. That ain't the right thing to do. Just ain't the right thing to do. And I can live with that. I can live with that. I can, honest to God, live with that. But what I can't live with is this. I can't live with the Jewish community jumping up and being all in a rut because a superstar said something. But on a day-to-day basis, your own comedians, including Amy Schumer and many others, go out of their way to make fun of your very own communities that they are part of, culturally, historically, and etc. and otherwise. All thing you gotta do is ask some of these stars and look for a picture with them with the yarmulke on. I don't know what the fuck y'all thinking about. You're attacking your own people, and that's why I said I'm very upset with so many black and Latin people. Like, you know, it's like one dude was sitting there behind the computer like Calvin Candy. Well, I don't know what a day in Boston would be like. You know what I mean? I don't know what a cold day in Boston would be. Yeah, I never remember that part from Django Unchained. Oh, all right. But, it's sad, man. You got black people and Latin people attacking Kanye. What the fuck are you in it for? Is that a fair question? Why the fuck are you in it? What benefit do you have? Kanye was on there. Let's take out the diatribe that he said about Jewish people, right? Let's take in contextually what he was saying. I like the argument we had with Piers Morgan when he said to Piers Morgan, he said, do you know what black people have been through in this country? You want me to deduce that and turn around and apologize or whatever the case may be? Well, I want to sit down and have a conversation. And he said it. He said, I want to have a conversation. And all that would have been heard, Kanye, if you wouldn't have said that shit right there. Now, I'm going to tell you what you need to do. All right? I'm going to tell you what you need to do. This is your cousin talking. What you need to do is you need to go sit your ass down for a good 4 or 5 months. Just sit down. Don't go nowhere. Don't talk to nobody. Concentrate on building the products, putting the products together, collaborating the products. Take your time out, breathe a little bit, go to some more of your daughter's basketball games, whatever the case may be. Enjoy being a man. And get rid of the fucking redneck 2042 look from the 70s with Twiggy and shit. That shit, boy, you need to go and stop eating all that fucking food or fucking on the move all the time. You look swole up, nigga. Clothes don't hang right on. You know what the fuck I'm talking about. You are slimmer. So go slim down and take these next 4 or 5 months, get in the gym, slim your motherfucking ass down, and sit back and chill with the kids and shit. Don't worry about that money. It's going to be there. You know that. I know that. And I'm going to tag you on your page with some information that you might like too. If it's a particular company I found, I can't afford them, but I know you can. You know what I mean? And they got some real innovative shit. Whatever the new brand is going to be called, because I'm imagining, because of contractual agreements, you can't name the next pair of shoes Yeezys. You can't name the next pair of clothing Gap or whatever. And if you got that shit, you better hang on to it, because that shit is going to be expensive in a minute. You know what I mean? Them sneakerheads, they got onto it early. They're like, what? Adidas said they're going to stop the production? They're not endorsing? They're not making? What? This shit a collectible now. You're going to see Yeezys go up to like $4,000 in a minute. Watch. If I were you, I wouldn't wear no Yeezys for the next couple of weeks, y'all. Don't wear no Yeezys. You might run into some trouble. You know what I'm saying? That value go up to $4,000. Trust me. And that's how much Yeezys was going for. Certain Yeezys, man, people, the resellers would buy them and resell them for like $1,000. Easy. You know what I mean? I was thinking about getting in that game myself, you know, retail game, as far as that, those shoes and stuff. I sold shoes before. I sold clothes before, mixtapes, DVDs, all that shit. I used to do that to get back and forth to New York so I could work. It's the truth, I swear to God. Y'all mad at Kanye for the wrong reason. Kanye was trying to stick up for you guys. Kanye put everything on his shoulders, and he's a billionaire, and the people didn't back him up. And I hate to make this about me, but that's the same way a lot of the words he's invoking and saying are the same ways I feel on here. You know, we as men have to start, and I'm not pointing at the women, I'm talking about the men. Tonight when I got on here, I'm at 612,000 views this month. I might be more. That was when I looked this month. This morning. I'm at 612,000 views, and the compensation for that doesn't match. And I try to encourage people all the time, like, yo, go donate to my Cash App. Go in the Cash App. Hit the Cash App. You're going to see better shit. You know what I'm saying? I've got 5 different events coming up, and I need monetary support for that. So make sure you guys hit the Cash App, $STRINGERBELL80. I really would appreciate it. As you can see by the reflection of my channel and the uploads, I'm not a lazy individual. I work very hard, and all the stuff that I put up is edited. It was the same problem that Kanye ran into today. He wanted the people's help. Nobody would help him. I said, yo, hit my Cash App, $STRINGERBELL80. I need y'all support. Nothing. And I'm particularly bothered because the men don't donate as much or at all. But they'll come to your channel. They'll have opinions. They'll say things or whatever, whatever. It's usually women that donate to me. Except for the day in my last live, Brian donated $20. He wanted to see me go see T.I., which I'm going to still go a route. Fuck that. I'm not going to sit back and let that opportunity pass. I'll just show up. If it pop, it pop. If it don't, it don't. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to miss out on that opportunity. So I'll be live streaming for y'all again tonight or whatever. So be on the lookout. But it's unfortunate, man, that this is where we're at. So start supporting your own. Support Kanye. You don't have to agree with what Kanye said. You could have literally stated it like this. I had no problem with Kanye said, but all the reflections of all the Instagram posts and YouTube posts were, ha, I told you he was going to lose it. Ha, they were happy. They were elated that this man was losing his money. And I don't understand that. I don't understand that at all. I just don't understand that. You're happy that one of your own lost it. Does that mean you win? Does that mean you win? Does that mean you win? If he lost and he's representative of who you are as a man, does that mean that he lost? And that means we should be scared what we say nowadays. That means you too, motherfucker. That means when you get on YouTube, be careful what you say. Don't say nothing like Kanye said. All right? Don't say nothing like Kanye said. Because remember, you was a good advocate for shit, you know? You believe in those tenets that will preach you for the same media that you fucking sit back day by day and speak against. You're hypocrites. You're hypocrites. And everything that I've said in the past, I proved it today. These people folded. What are you scared of? Join and listen, I grew up around Italians in Greece. I say it a million times, okay? All of them not going to accept you. They're not. Many of you come from extremely urban backgrounds, and you don't fit in with them. Oh, they'll be jovial with you. They'll be nice to you, so whatever. But they're not gonna embrace you. Not like me, myself, or other friends that I know, because we know their ways. We know how to talk to them. We know how to interact with them, whatever the case may be. We've got brown noses out here that are setting the precedents in front of white folks that show boss what you need. These motherfuckers, they're a problem. They're a problem. Black ones and the Latin ones. They're a problem. These shoe-kissing motherfuckers have been in existence for at least 200 to 300 years from the first set of ships that came over here. All right, there's always been some of these motherfuckers. You ever seen 12 Years a Slave? And then when they brought in the port, he said, that's my slave. He said, Mr. Johnson. Oh, Lord, went over petting them like a fucking rabbit. You know, these guys still exist. There's lineages of them. You heard me correctly. There's lineages of these fuckers, all right? In the Caribbean, especially, okay? And claro que sí, no? Okay, right. So it's like, when I see individuals like this or whatever, and these are the ones that are boasting out tweets, these are the people boasting out Instagram posts, these are the people that are applauding Kanye West and what they believe is losing it all, and don't realize that Kanye was on his way en route to getting rid of these companies, except for Balenciaga. Which I think they were some motherfuckers, because y'all did that on Kim Kardashian's birthday. Y'all some motherfuckers for that. Y'all did that on Kim Kardashian's birthday, as is to say, here's a birthday present for you, Kim. We're going to get rid of this guy. We're going to keep you. And Kanye got her the deal. Kanye got her the deal. You wouldn't have that deal without that. You wouldn't have that Skims deal without Kanye either. Kanye made that woman a lot of money, and she sits back and backs up off of him every time he gets into something. Oh, I'm backing off. Kanye takes good goddamn care of them kids. Even when you had that damn Staten Island trash up under you, which everybody now, y'all see what I'm talking about. Didn't that Kanye say the same shit I said beforehand? If anybody remember, I said, yo, Staten Island is like most of it. I ain't gonna say all of it, but Staten Island, and some of Long Island too, but Staten Island, which is a hot scup in the drink from here, ain't nothing but filled with trash. It's all that's out there. You get me? And it's not the reflection negatively on Staten Island, but most of Staten Island looks like a fucking drug workshop. Last time I was out there anyway, which wasn't too long ago, it was like 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. So Staten Island is a rough place. I heard Pete Davidson say it himself. This is the place where dreams die. I was on his old lips. I'm from Staten Island, a place where dreams die. This is the guy she went to go pick up. So I said, you want to slum it for a little bit to stick it to baby daddy, right? This girl is silly. She's silly as hell. You want to stiff it to the guy that got you your deals, the guy that's making you money, the guy that's garnered you other deals so you can make more money. You want to stiff it to that guy and go with the The hobo with a long schlong. Oh boy. Oh boy. Kanye, hold your head. I don't mean to talk about your wife if you hear this like that. I was just very displeased with that. I'm very displeased with that. Guys, make sure you hit up the Cash App, $ STRINGERBELL80. Also, there's a link in the description box. I want to tell Kanye West, hold your head. I'm here in the town. Shout out to a couple other people, too, that are backing Kanye. Not necessarily for the Jewish comments he said, but just in general. And I just want to say to the Jewish community, I will tell you straight up, I've dated your women. I've been part of your community. I've ate in your houses. So I'm going to tell you like this. It's very hypocritical and chutzpah, as if I said it correctly, chutzpah, that you sit around and you condemn Kanye West, but at the same time, you don't condemn your own comedians, actresses, actors, etc., that have made fun of your own community, including one in particular, Seth MacFarlane, who has for 25 years produced the Family Guy show. And as you can see by example, right down below, guys, and I'll attach it here in the video and in the pinned comment too, a whole little tribe of a reel that I put together showing that. And there's more to come. So you have a gentleman that spent 25 years making fun of the Jewish community, and somebody's argument earlier on my page, I'm going to throw that up. Well, he makes fun of everybody. You shouldn't be making fun of everybody in this particular day and age, right? I mean, this is the day and age where you sit around and you say something the wrong way, and you could be canceled for a lifetime, a whole career that you work for, whatever the case may be. So why is he adjacent to that? Is there somebody protecting him? That's what somebody would say. Theoretically, that's what somebody would say. Is there somebody protecting Seth MacFarlane? Seth MacFarlane has also done other projects where he's made fun of people of color or all different ethnicities. That doesn't mean it's always been okay. In fact, I think he's from a comedy tribe that doesn't exist anymore. You know, you have to be very careful what you say to people, around people, and above all, how you directly incentivize what you're saying. So I would just say I think the Jewish community to also look within their own as they're making their suggestions and considerations. Other than that, guys, this is my time. I'm going to be back live with you in a few minutes here. I'm going to try to make this little thing here and see what happens or whatever the case may be. Guys, if you're just now tuning in, I'm trying to go see T.I., so make sure you donate to the Cash App. I'll make sure I film from there and stream. I mean, if you haven't noticed yet, I don't know what to tell you. That's $ STRINGERBELL80. That's Stringerbell80. STRINGERBELL80. 80. The link is found in the description box. There's also a pinned comment. And also in the pinned comment, there's also a PayPal link if you don't have Cash App. There's all, which you don't have to sign up anything. There's also a GoFundMe link that you don't have to sign up or anything like that. So I wanted to tell people that because I know a lot of people, they don't have Cash App. They're like, I don't have Cash App. I was like, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. You know what I mean? I've had it for like 2 or 3 years, so I kind of used to it, but it's not the best place all the time. You know, I will tell you that there's been times that money gets jammed up and you don't get it to the next day and all kinds of crazy shit, you know, so I don't know. Just be advised, guys, that you got 3 different payment options. There's also an Amazon wish list in the description box as well. Feel free to hit that up too. And somebody told me they had a problem with it. I'm going to try to fix it again while I'm en route where I'm going and see if we can get that all taken care of, all right? So, guys, I will be back with you, I promise, in a little bit here, and we'll go live and we'll talk about some things or whatever. I'm feeling spirited and I'm feeling in the mood, so let's see what we can do or whatever. Make sure y'all hit that Cash App. Brian, thanks for the $20, man. I'm en route right now. If I don't catch tonight's show, I will catch tomorrow's show. If I don't catch tonight's show, I will catch tomorrow's show. So make sure that you guys donate so we can have more experiences here. I can take you guys a lot of places, but it costs money to get into those places. So I need your support, just like y'all support every other vlogger. And I just want to say congratulations to me. I reached 12.1K overnight. So thank you to everybody that's new, signed up here, whatever. I'm a vlogger. I haven't been going live here lately because the monetary support wasn't there, but the people in between that do, Bertina, thank you for the $50. TMH Global, always thank you to you, man, for real. And TMH, if you want to hit me up again, I would appreciate it. I ain't gonna lie to you, brother, for real. And shout out to, oh yeah, Miss Foster. Shout out to motherfucking Miss Foster. Chi-Town and repping, you understand? Album half stepping. That's honestly and truthfully my friend right there. That's definitely a person. I ain't gonna say her whole name or whatever, but she donated significantly. TMH Global did too about 2-3 weeks ago or whatever. Y'all also make sure y'all hit those like buttons, show your support for the channel, share this live. I can't incentivize that more. Share this so people see actually the angle that maybe we haven't reached into the bag and looked at yet, which is the Jewish community within themselves have made fun of themselves for years and had comedians, actors, actresses, etc., do this via the media. So why don't you have a problem with them if they're doing the same thing? And in my experience and in my way I interpreted it, worse than what Kanye is doing. So well, I said, he hasn't continued it, but Kanye West, my last words to you, brother. Make sure of this, man. Make sure that you don't say any more of these words. Sit back for like 3-4 months, maybe even 2 months. Come back around Thanksgiving. That's a perfect time. Come back around, just disappear to Thanksgiving. You know what I'm saying? Or 2 or 3 days before Thanksgiving or whatever. I think the empathy level may be there. But yeah, do that. Just sit back for a minute. Don't do no more fucking interviews. There's no reason to. Do not make a statement about Adidas. It will affect how future companies deal with you. You understand? Do not make a statement right now about Adidas. Okay? If you were anybody at camp, see this. I know a lot of y'all think I'm crazy. Well, I was in the music business for 17 years, so I have a lot of people from the music business that particularly might know Kanye or could reach out to Kanye. You know what I'm saying? Big Face Gary, what up? You know what I mean? Rockefeller Records. I was in that business for a long time, so that's why I speak like that if any of y'all can't pick it up. But make sure that you stay away for a while. Make sure that you keep quiet. Make sure that you don't say anything about the matter. And I guarantee you, in this 10-day, 15-day, 15-second nation that we live in right now, they'll forget all about it and move on. But don't say anything about Adidas. Don't say anything about Adidas, Kanye, because if you do, you'll just give them more ammo. Guys, make sure y'all hit up the Cash App, $STRINGERBELL80. Links in the description box. If you're just now tuning in, hit the like button. Go back and watch this from the beginning. And make sure to share this live. They won't say it, so I'll say it. I'll talk to you guys later.